Hey, I want to talk about those winds that we had back on March 3rd. I believe these were a few days prior. I believe they were a few days before March 3rd, but they were still extreme wind gusts. Now, these were in Knoxville. This was 87 miles per hour. That was the top wind that day. Now, we had 80-mile-per-hour wind, hurricane force winds, straight up hurricane winds the entire day. Now, what happened for us is it was literally, normally whenever you have a storm system come through, you'll get winds out ahead of the frontal boundary, or you'll get winds out ahead of the storm system. You'll see some pop-up storms in front, and it'll be fine beforehand, known as the calm before the storm. Or you'll have winds out ahead of the frontal system, and then the frontal system moves through, and the extreme winds then begin, and then afterwards you're clear, you're fine. It's calm afterwards. Well, normally, you know how a lot of times there'll be a system where you'll see a squall line move through. Now, it could be a squall line, or what's known meteorologically as, there's another term I can't think of, but where when the system moves through, you'll have a pressure system on each side holding it in the right place, the jet streams in just the right place, and everything. You have this system where you have the system move through. Well, in this case, we had an entire nationwide system where a storm produced snow, feet of snow from California, to drenching rain from California to Texas, tornadoes through Texas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, and then it moved all the way through the state of Tennessee, the Tennessee Valley, Ohio Valley, and then it moved on to the northeast, creating what they call a nor'easter system, where they had snow and then they had heavy rain and storms up in New England, New Jersey, New York, and those areas, all the way up into Maine, until it just pushed out into the ocean. The Carolinas got storm systems from it as well. But normally you don't get a system where, oh, okay, here comes the storms, here's the rain, it's going to rain all night long, heavier rain than I've seen in I don't know how long. It was enough to just create flowing water through our entire yard. It didn't even do that during the 2010 floods of Tennessee. Well, we had flowing water through the entire yard building up. Never have I ever seen water build up there in those places of our yard. Then, after the storm systems and rain moved through, that's when the winds became heavy. Hurricane force 80-mile-per-hour winds nonstop throughout the day in our area. And they actually put it in the local newspaper, which I'll show in another video. It was really something else to behold. Now, this, I believe, was some drone footage of the possible damage in some areas locally. And this was an image of a spin up of a possible tornado. Maybe you would call it a funnel cloud, since it actually hadn't reached the ground yet. Now, it looked very similar to a storm that I seen years ago, and I recorded and posted it on this channel. Now, you'll see right here, this does look indicative of possible straight line winds, but it might also indicate a tornado if there was enough damage surrounding. But we darn near had a tornado in this location, given the fact of the uprooted trees. These were snapped, and you'll see there that this image captured does look very similar to one that I captured many years ago. And then you have more trees that were down in the system, trees over power lines, and